afternoon. Welcome into Health and Wellness Sunday. I missed last Sunday because I had mandatory work to do at one of the gyms. And in August, we have mandatory at this gym. It's called a cleaning party. Trust me, there's a lot of cleaning and it's not really a party. Anyway, we're on part 2 of micro minerals in the body. There will be a part 3. There's no way I can fit all this into a 30-minute segment. So anyway, we're going to talk about the micro minerals. We talked about the macro minerals. Now we're going to talk about micro minerals. Micro minerals are often referred to as trace minerals, meaning they are present in the body, but they're required in smaller amounts in your diet. There is approximately 10 microminerals that are required in your body. Chromium, we're going to start with chromium. It's a trace element that some people use as a supplement. Perhaps most importantly, chromium forms a compound in the body that seems to enhance the effects of insulin and lower glucose levels, but it also has risk. Some of the studies have shown that chromium supplements may be helpful for people with type 2 diabetes and insulin-resistant pre-diabetics. And it can lower the glucose level, which is your blood sugar or sugar blood. Some studies have shown that chromium supplements may have effects on cholesterol, heart disease, risk, psychological disorders, Parkinson's, and other diseases and conditions. However, the study's results have been contradictory and unclear. Chromium is a mineral that humans require in trace amounts, as I just said, although its mechanisms of action in the body and the amount needed for optimal health is not well defined, or meaning they really don't understand. It's not understood. It is primarily found in 2 forms: trivalent chromium, which is a biologically active and found in food, and then there's hexavalent chromium 6+, a toxic form that results from industrial pollution, and it can cause skin problems and lung cancer. So there are 2 forms of chromium. Chromium is known to enhance the action of insulin, which is a hormone critical to the metabolism and storage of carbohydrate, fat, and protein in the body. In 1957, a compound in brewer's yeast was found to prevent an age-related decline in the ability of rats to maintain normal levels of sugar glucose in their blood. So chromium appears to be directly involved in carbohydrate, fat, and protein metabolism, but more research is still needed. So there's still not really understanding. Chromium is widely distributed in our food supply, but most food provide only small amounts. Dietary intakes of chromium cannot be reliably determined because the content of the mineral in the food is substantially affected by agricultural modern practices and manufacturing processes. So it means that it's of no value. Deficiency. 1960s, chromium was found to correct glucose intolerance and insulin resistance in deficient animals, 2 indicators that the body is failing to properly control your blood sugar levels, which are precursors to type 2 diabetes. But reports of actual chromium deficiency in humans, they're very rare. These 3 hospital patients who were fed intravenously showed signs of diabetes, including weight loss, neuropathy, and impaired glucose intolerance, until chromium was added to their feeding solutions. Chromium was added up to 2 weeks, corrected their diabetes symptoms, and the chromium is now added routinely into intravenous solutions, and based on 3 hospitalized patients. So, and it's working. Now, the food sources for chromium is, oh, you've heard all this before: whole grains, fruits, nuts and seeds, vegetables, grapes, soy products, legumes. Legumes meaning dried beans, such as kidney beans, navy beans, black beans, pinto beans. Beans, the more you eat. Never mind. Anyway, cobalt. It is an integral part of vitamin B12. Cobalamin supports red blood cells production and the formation of myelin, which is nerve coverings, the tissue that covers the nerves. Red blood cells live about 120 days. I thought this was interesting, so I wanted to include this. This is from another study that I read. Red blood cells live 120 days. They do not replicate themselves like other cells, like your white blood cells do. They don't split and replicate. Approximately 2.4 million new erythrocytes, which are the red blood cells, produced per second in the human adults. They develop in the bone marrow and circulate in the body for about 120 days before their components are recycled by macrophages. Now, macrophages are the specialized blood cells. They're the cleanup crew, the sanitation crew. Like, I've said this before in one of my earlier videos, like vultures out there picking the bones of the dead, the sanitation cleanup crew. Each circulation takes about 60 seconds throughout your entire body. That's pretty fast, traveling through your body. Cobalt, as part of vitamin B12, is not easily absorbed from the digestive tract. The body level of cobalt normally measures 80 to 300 micrograms. A microgram is a thousandth of a milligram. Just so you have an idea, I know you look at vitamins and bottles and it says milligrams. Well, a microgram is a thousandth of 1 milligram. It is stored in the red blood cells and the plasma, single largest component of the blood. Your blood consists of about 55% plasma, as well as the liver, kidney, spleen, and pancreas. Sources of cobalt is available mainly as part of B12. There is some question as to whether inorganic cobalt is actually usable in the body. Ocean fish and sea vegetables, which would be seaweed, algae, kelp, have cobalt, but land vegetables have very little. Some cobalt is available in legumes, spinach, cabbage, lettuce, beet greens, and figs. Functions as part of B12. As part of B12, cobalt is essential to red blood cell formation and is also helpful to other cells in repair, etc. Cobalt as part of B12 is used to prevent anemia and pernicious anemia. What pernicious anemia is, if you haven't heard of it, it's a decrease in red blood cells that occurs when the intestines can't properly absorb the vitamin B12. So that's what pernicious anemia is. Vitamin B12 is also beneficial in some cases of fatigue, digestive disorders, and neuromuscular problems. Toxicity can occur from excess inorganic cobalt found as a food contaminant. In beer drinkers, cardiomyopathy is enlargement of the heart, and congestive heart failure have traced to cobalt introduced into beer during manufacturing. So if you're consuming a lot of beer out there, buyer beware. Increased intake may affect the thyroid or cause overproduction of red blood cells, which thickens the blood and increase inactivity in the bone marrow. Deficiency of cobalt is not really a concern. If we get enough B12, vegetarians and vegans need to be more concerned than other people do. If if you're eating a diet that does have meat and dairy. I do not eat meat and dairy. But anyway, the soil, due to modern farming practices, is becoming deficient of cobalt, further reducing the already low levels in plant foods. So if you can't get it through your plants because the soil is becoming deficient, modern cultural farming practices are destroying the soil. As cobalt deficiency leads to decreased availability of B12, there is an increase of mainly symptoms and problems related to B12 deficiency, particularly pernicious anemia and nerve damage, and it can be fatal. Requirements: no specific recommended daily requirement is suggested for cobalt because they really don't know. Our needs are low, and B12 usually fulfills them, and daily intake is about 5 to 8 micrograms. It is not usually given as a supplement. And you can find some of this information I just read on Staying Healthy with Nutrition. The ISBN number is 15876111791. Copper. Copper is it's an essential trace element that is vital to the health of all living things, all animals, not just humans, but all animals. In humans, copper is essential for proper functioning of organs and metabolic processes. The human body has a complex homeostatic mechanism which attempts to ensure a constant supply of available copper while eliminating excess copper whenever this occurs. But like all essential elements, too much or too little nutritional ingestion of copper results in a corresponding condition. The benefit: copper has numerous benefits, health benefits. It is essential for both red and white blood cell formation, iron absorption, bone strength, heart muscle contraction, glucose, cholesterol, and brain development. Helps maintain blood vessels, nerves, and immune function. Third, proper growth of the body, utilization of the arm, which I just said, proper enzymatic reactions, improved health of connective tissue, hair, eyes, helps prevent premature aging, which all of us, I'm sure, is very interested in. Increase energy production, regulates heart rhythm, balances the thyroid glands, reduce arthritis symptoms, and assist in quick wound healing, the angiogenesis of when you injure yourself or you go into surgery, of how your body heals. Increases blood cell formation. The health benefits of copper are crucial for an overall healthy existence. This mineral enables a normal metabolic process in association with amino acids and vitamins, so it all works together. Copper cannot be produced by the body and must come from food sources. It is the third most prevalent mineral in the body and is mostly carried by the blood plasma protein, which is called ceruloplasmin. Getting better at pronouncing these words, if you haven't noticed. A copper deficiency can have the following symptoms though: anemia, low body temperature, brittle bones. Remember in my first video concerning vitamins, minerals, I said think of minerals as the building blocks, the structure, the mortar, the concrete, the plaster. Osteoporosis, dilated veins, and I've been seeing a lot of dilated veins lately in men and women. Low white blood cell count, low skin pigmentation, uneven heartbeats, they're not regulated, elevated cholesterol levels, low resistance to infections, birth defects, thyroid disorders, lethargy, paleness, which is low skin pigmentation, where you are very, people call it fair skin, but you're pale. You don't have the melanin in the skin. Anorexia, which is weight loss, severe weight loss. Sores that don't heal, stunted growth, edema, which edema is, if you're not familiar with edema, what it is where you retain water in the tissues of your skin and pockets and crevices, and you bloat. And edema can be very bad. It can also be fatal. Diarrhea, hair loss, bleeding under the skin, and dermatitis. Dermatitis, which is your skin, and titis is an infection, inflammation. To infant boys, inherited copper deficiency contributes to the rare Mink syndrome. It can happen where natural absorption becomes impossible. Early intervention is essential in such cases. Your copper sources, once again, legumes, beets, lentils, soy, garlic, nuts, here's a new one, blackstrap molasses. I don't know if you like it, but if you're deficient, just hold your breath and swallow it down. Whole grains, wheat bran, almonds, avocados, barley, oats. So, I know you've heard a lot of this before, but every once in a while there's a new one. Now, copper toxicity is increasingly common in this day and age due to a widespread of occurrence of copper in our foods. Copper fungicides that they use on vegetables. E-cigarettes, these cigarettes that everybody's transitioning over to, toxic. Copper IUD, uterine device, it's a birth control. It's a wire, copper, that they insert into the uterus to prevent pregnancy. Hot water pipes, along with common nutritional deficiencies in zinc, manganese, and other trace minerals that help keep levels of copper in balance. Birth control pills increase a woman's risk of copper toxicity due to the effect that the estrogen has increasing copper retention in the kidneys, and cyst formation increasing in the blood volume, which can cause hypertension, stroke, or even death. If the liver and the adrenal glands are not able to regulate hormones in the body, specifically estrogen and aldosterone, copper buildups and the liver disrupting the liver's ability to detoxify and cleanse the blood. Other toxic heavy metals will also build up as a result of copper competing with zinc and many enzymes and binding sites in the body. When zinc gets displaced by copper, metallothionein production declines, leading to heavy metals building up in the body. And heavy metals are very toxic. Mercury, just to name one, aluminum. Copper toxicity symptoms, these are the symptoms: acne, allergies, hair loss, anemia, anorexia, anxiety, attention deficit disorder, arthritis. Now, on the arthritis, people wear copper bracelets to ease their arthritis, but there's been no scientific study or even proven that that actually works. So I think it's the power of the mind, is my opinion. If you think you can achieve it, you can. Asthma, autism, candida overgrowth, which is yeast fungus. Let me address that one. Vaginal yeast fungus, thrust in the mouth, fingernail fungus, fungus in your skin you can't get rid of. That could be a copper toxicity, due to copper toxicity. Depression is one of them, and dysmenorrhea. That is a woman's cycle when she's menstruating and it's irregular, and it goes away. That's not a good thing. Male infertility. I knew I'd get to you guys. Prostatitis, which means it's inflammation of the prostate, and you could have a little tumor going on there, or growth going on down there, and it very well could be a toxicity from copper. Fibromyalgia, migraine headaches, PMS, chronic infections, insomnia, racing thoughts, neuralgia, which is nerve pain, sciatica, which is nerve pain once again, and hypertension, hypothyroidism, schizophrenia, and bipolar. So the list for copper toxicity symptoms is very long. So my thoughts are, if you're experiencing, or anybody in your family or anybody you know is experiencing something like this, maybe they should be tested to see if they have a heavy metal toxicity going on, and along with the copper, and if it can be corrected if it's not too late, because sometimes the damage is permanent if not caught in time. I'm gonna flip over, I'm gonna skim over fluoride, and I'll address that next week. The research on fluoride is very, very, very long and very intense. There's a lot of controversy between different sources on fluoride, but the one thing that did come through is fluoride it's poison to your body, even though it requires only a minute amount for your teeth and bones. Some of that was in favor of fluoride was produced by companies that are promoting fluoride and selling fluoride in toothpaste, and a lot of the other research that I was paying attention to and reading was not funded by anybody. It was nonprofit. So I have more of a leaning towards the nonprofit, because they don't have anything in the game to gain. They're just reporting the facts. Iodine. Iodine is a mineral found in some foods. The body needs iodine to make thyroid hormones. Now, a lot of people I know have a lot of thyroid issues, and what does their doctor do? Rather than check their iodine levels, they put them on freaking medicine. Anyway, sorry, I do have opinions. These hormones control the body's metabolism and many other important functions. The body also needs thyroid hormones for proper bone and brain development during pregnancy. The thyroid gland uses iodine to help growth and repair damaged cells and support a healthy metabolism. Unfortunately, up to a third of people worldwide are at risk of an iodine deficiency. People who live in countries where there is very little iodine in the soil, South Asia, Southeast Asia, New Zealand, and European countries, people who don't use iodized salt, vegans or vegetarians, they're at risk. In the US, deficiencies are rare because we have iodized salt and everything, where there are sufficient levels in this food supply. An iodine deficiency can cause uncomfortable and even severe symptoms. Swelling in the neck, called a goiter. That's one of the symptoms, an indicator. And if it is left untreated, it can cause permanent damage. So if you have any kind of swelling going on in your thyroid, maybe you should get it checked out. Unexpected weight gain is another indicator. Low iodine levels slow your metabolism. and it encourages the food to store as fat because you're not burning it, excuse me. Fatigue and weakness, low levels of iodine leave you feeling tired and sluggish and weak. Your body needs the iodine to make energy. It's part of your energy metabolism to keep you moving, keep you going, keep you grooving. Okay. Hair loss. Iodine deficiency may prevent hair follicles from regenerating. Getting sufficient iodine can help correct hair loss that occurs due to the deficiency. Dry, flaky skin. It may occur with an iodine deficiency as the mineral helps keep your skin regenerated, helps the cells turn over. It also helps your body sweat and hydrate your skin cells. Iodine deficiency, you sweat less. Feeling colder. Iodine helps generate body heat, so low levels of it leave you feeling colder than usual. May slow your heart rate. Changes in your heart rate may slow your heart rate, leaving you feeling weak, fatigued, dizzy, and at risk of fainting. So that's another thing. I'm going to stoop down if you don't mind. And trouble learning and remembering. A deficiency at any age may cause you to struggle to learn and remember things. One possible reason for this might be an underdeveloped brain. Now, I condensed down explanations on each of these symptoms, but this one I felt like I needed to expand on. So I went ahead and expanded on it, even though I just gave you the condensed version, the summary of how I summarized it for you. A study including over 1,000 adults, this is very important. A study including over 1,000 adults found those with higher thyroid levels performed better on learning and memory tests compared to those with lower thyroid hormone levels. Studies have found that the hippocampus, the part of the brain that controls long-term memory, appears to be smaller in people with low thyroid hormone levels. So I really wanted to expand on this rather than just give you my version of a summary on it. Now, problems during pregnancy. Getting enough iodine is especially important for pregnant and breastfeeding women as they have higher needs, and iodine deficiency may cause severe side effects, especially for the body, such as stunted growth and brain development of the fetus, of the child. Heavy or irregular periods. Some women with deficiency may experience heavy or irregular periods. The low thyroid levels interfere with hormones that are involved in regulating menstrual cycles. It disrupts the hormone signals. In other words, it interferes with the communication between hormones and sends the wrong message. Food sources high in iodine are prunes, whole grains, cage-free, meaning range eggs. The chickens are running free, they're eating bugs, they're insects, they're eating whatever, they're foraging. They're not locked in a pen or in a building and the windows are open and they call it cage-free. That's not what they're talking about. These chickens are foraging, getting their natural food sources. Lima beans, corn, bananas, and green peas. Also, this is a variety right here I'm fixing to read to you of sea vegetables: kelp, algae, nori, kumbu, and wakame. These are all sea vegetables, and you probably can find them at health food stores. I take algae and kelp and some of it, and I crunch it up and sprinkle it on my salads, or I throw it in my crock pot when I'm making stews. Dr. Jeremy Axe, he's right here in Florida, over in Tampa Bay area. He recommends Himalayan or Celtic salt as opposed to iodized salt for getting your iodine. And Dr. Axe had autoimmune diseases as a child, and as he grew up and he went to college and he started going through medical school, he figured out how to heal himself with foods. So if you want to check into him, he is on the internet, and it's just type in Dr. Axe Food is Medicine, and he will pop up for you. Anyway, next week I will do the rest of the micro minerals that are needed in very small amounts, and I will tackle fluoride for you. That was a lot of studies on that one, a long, boring reading, and that's why I summarize and condense down for you. I don't get into all the technical ins and outs of how it works. And anyway, pass this video on to anybody you think who may be interested or like it. Please, and hit the like, and if you will, follow me and subscribe. And if you have any questions or any concerns or something you think would be a good topic for me to research, please email me at stellarmindbody@gmail.com. And let me fill you in on part of my day.